What is up, y'all? Welcome back. It's time for roster review number 2 as another banger. Oh my God. For being only a 2-weeker, 5 new diamonds, bunch of new golds, a lot of guys moving out. I realized one thing. Okay, first things first, there was no roster update prediction video this week. Pardon me. The list came out very late. It came out on Thursday. It was a 65 name list. Basically, my workflows have to change. I'm an early bird these days. I've kind of switched my schedule. I used to be big time night owl, staying up till 3, 4 in the morning and just kind of keeping that schedule. But now I'm waking up earlier. I'm doing the Boxes and Bulls show where we do it 3 times a week, reviewing the box scores from the day before and talking about everything. So I just need to change my workflow for the research because I used to just kind of do it all in one day, and it was like a 10-hour day, and I just kind of do that. Like, okay, Monday before the update or Sunday night into Monday morning before the update is my investment research time. It's just not cutting it right now. So shifting the workflows, going to get it all worked out. Pardon the lack of a video and the list being shorter. But it will be better. And there will still be night streams too. They just won't be as late either. Because I've also not been doing my evening streams very often. Because by the time 8 o'clock rolls around, my ass is tired, man. When you get up at 6 or 7, it's, And listen, I know a lot of y'all been doing that always. So I'm not acting like I'm doing anything special here. I used to keep this schedule when I worked in the corporate world. It's just that with the season going, I'm keeping more of a normal schedule or what is a customary 9 to 5 type schedule. And I'm getting a little tired right now as I'm adjusting to it. So anyway, with that out of the way, we got a lot to get into. I had 2 diamonds on mine. I went 50-50. I had a lot of 84s that I was tepid on or I was interested in, but I was keeping my foot on the brake, I'm going to dial it up. Okay, based on these first 2 updates, they're being a little bit more aggressive, and I'm cool with that. I need to adjust my levers a little bit because there's some guys here that got diamond that I'm like very happy about, but my calibration was a bit off, thinking like, okay, they're gonna make him prove it a little bit more for like Yordan Alvarez because I thought it was Nelson Cruz 2.0, or for like a Taylor Rogers because relievers are often they make it tough for them to go diamond, or a Tommy Edman, who I actually had getting nooched this week because he had no power. And I was like, sometimes when it's about going gold to diamond, they can be real nitpicky to make sure, like, do you really deserve this diamond? Which I respect, but I think they've loosened their restrictions a little bit. So I'm going to bring mine down and we will be calibrated properly going forward. But let's just dive in. We go position by position here. Shohei Ohtani gets nooched. I mean, he's obviously just a god. Corbin Burns looking nice. Scherzer down 1. Just some incremental changes here at the top. +2 for Verlander. No hit bid deep into a game. Kershaw, Rodon. Rodon, I mean, it can't be long before Rodon goes 90, right? So if you are investing at that high level and that's something you like to do, I think he's going to get there. Now, the one thing is, I don't know how a guy who starts gold, when they go 90 plus, how much does their price really go up, right? Because don't forget, part of it is supply and demand. And obviously when he goes 90 plus, the supply will go down, but is there enough out there already to kind of keep the price from spiking? So be careful when you invest in these guys that can go 90, but I do believe Rodon eventually will. I mean, healthy right now, who's better? Who's better? Healthy. Okay, so you can't say DeGrom right now. Who's better than Carlos Rodon right now as a healthy pitcher? You might be able to name a few guys, but I can give you an argument right back on him. He's right there. So he's going to continue to go up as long as he stays healthy, and let's hope he does because he's awesome to watch. Gosman beasting, he does get nooched. Musgrove, now here's one where I played it safe and it panned out. I put him at an 84 as well. Where did I put Musgrove? Yeah, and like I had him and Rogers both very close, and one of the reasons that I was a little bit nervous, and another thing too, is you don't know how close they are, right? Are they an 83.7, so that one little boost gets them to 84, and then the rest of the upgrade gets them to 85, or are they like 83.1? And so they got to go all the way through 83 to get to 84, and then all the way through 84. In this case, I was worried that Musgrove probably wouldn't get there because he was only enhancing the categories he's already good at, which you see here, hits and walks. His strikeouts didn't really go up. 9.5 strikeouts is a mid 60s right now because for relievers, it's not that special, which is crazy to think. That used to just be amazing. Woodruff had to come down. I get it. And you can see here he was living pretty close because this update being a -2 is tough. But it tells me that he was like a low 85 then, if he was this susceptible to a 2-point ding for these changes here. Nola gets +1. He's working his way back to diamond. He can definitely get there soon. Pablo Lopez is all about health as well. He's not quite as good as Rodon, but it's that same sort of vibe of like when he's pitching, he's one of the best in the league, but he has chronic shoulder issues. So the rug can be pulled out from under us at any moment. I think that's more likely. I don't want it to happen or anything. I'm not predicting injury, but I'm saying that's more likely to happen than statistical failure from Lopez. If he stays healthy, he's going diamond this year. The one thing that I think stands in his way is the health. Bieber's been good. I think he got beat up a bit his last outing, but he's been pretty good. He's just at a lesser level. He's just a high gold right now. He's just not really a diamond. Manoa's working his way to diamond. We need to see the strikeouts really pop off to get there. And, you love the ERA and whip, but ERA doesn't matter for the MLB The Show card, and the whip is being reflected with the +3 hits, +5 walks. Max Fried, both these guys, they have diamond upside, but it has to come via the strikeouts. So you kind of got one thing to watch. You can just kind of dial in on their strikeout rate, and if it starts to go up into 10 plus per 9, they can start to move their way into diamond. Otherwise, they're probably going to live in this 83, 84 range for a bit. Now, the strikeouts aren't a problem with Shane McClanahan. I think he's actually fast tracking to diamond. If he continues to pitch like this, he'll bypass these two and move his way into diamond relatively soon. He's a long-term destined for diamond as far as I'm concerned. SDS, I see you. I see you. I think they played a little fast and loose here to prevent Whitlock from going diamond. That's a little tough. But again, it goes with the theme of sharper reactions right now. So I'm okay with it. It's not like he's the only one who got a sharp reaction. But I'll tell you, y'all, he has 98 major league innings. He's been a diamond for those 98 innings. That's a pretty small sample to give someone a diamond, but he's been nothing but excellent. So they hit him hard on the walk rate. He had a 2.1 walks per 9 last year. He's at 2.9 this year. I'm not too sure that needed a -11. And then if you just take since the last roster update, then he has, let's see, because he had a 4 walk outing is basically what it is. Yeah, he has a 12% walk rate in this roster period, which is what it's based off of. I know, I get it, but that was tough. And that was to keep him from diamond, I think. I really do. Because I thought the position change might move him there. Plus he got boosts. So I think that -11 was to keep him in check a little bit. But we'll see. He also had the 4 walk game, so it's not like they made it up out of thin air. I just think they graded a little too harshly. Zach Gallen's been awesome. He gets up to gold. He's another guy kind of like Pablo Lopez. And who was I saying about the health? Rodon. Where that's the only thing that's really going to stop him. Gallen is an absolute beast. And so the only thing that can really kind of get in his way lately has been injury. So if he stays healthy, watch out. Wheeler's finding his form. I think he's an interesting investment. I don't know where his price is right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if he goes back up to diamond. So another dip here, but he's starting to push forward. I think if you believe in his health, you can invest in diamond for Wheeler because he looks like he's finding his footing. Evaldi gets nooched. Robbie Ray comes down. Robbie Ray will be out of gold next time if he doesn't keep up what he did against Philly. I will say that was a vintage outing against Philly with the 10 Ks, but otherwise, oof. I understand why they had to hit Thor's strikeout rate, but he did get some big strikeouts last outing, and that under the hood, it looks like the strikeouts will be coming. He's got the swing and miss still. He's still got electric stuff. He's just not getting the strikeouts yet, but he hasn't needed them. He's having success in spite of that. But for MLB The Show, you got to have strikeouts if your card's going to go up. I'm not saying invest in him for diamond, but just keep tabs on him. If Thor got back to Diamond this year, I wouldn't be surprised. Let's just say that. Logan Gilbert gets nooched. Yeah, I get it. Montas goes down 1. McGill. So his meltdown is not included here, y'all. And I was worried. I played it a little bit cautiously. This is another good gauge for me to see, okay, we can dial it up a little bit. Because I went 79. I didn't want to get too aggressive here. He might lose it because of that bad outing, like instantly. So I probably wouldn't hold my shares right now. I guess wait until the very next outing, see what happens there. And if he stabilizes, I think they'll give him a little bit of a reprieve for that bad outing, because it was a nightmare. Like, there's no two ways around it. Just a dud of an outing. If he bounces back really strong, like 6 scoreless, 8 Ks, I think they can kind of wipe it clean. Like, yeah, you got to count it a little bit, but I don't think that they need to take him out of gold. But if he struggles again, 5 innings, 4 runs, 3 strikeouts, or some shit like that, I think he would lose gold just as quickly as he got it. Nasty Nestor gets hooked up, deserved. He's awesome, and he had to hit gold. I don't know that he can hit diamond. I mean, he's been a fun story. I hope he keeps killing it, but he got hooked up. He got to gold. Clev Dog has looked a little uneven so far, but they're ramping him up. He's 90 plus pitches on both of his starts returning. They're trying to get him to the point where they can use him 5-6 innings at a time. So there is that at least. Urias has just been kind of off. He's not really striking guys out. Not suppressing hits the way he normally does, and yet he still has a 2.10 ERA and a 1.10 WHIP. How nice is that? That when you're not even at your best, you're not even at your cruising speed, you still have a damn near sub 2 ERA. Must be nice. Kopech gets boosted. His hit suppression really helped him out here to get gold. Dylan Cease goes gold. Listen, getting got by the Yankees last night. Another one where I think if he comes right back and dominates again, you count the Yankees one a bit, but you don't hammer a guy. Like, we can't just go up and down with everything, right? So we don't have overreactions on either end, the positive or the negative. It was a bad outing. He still had 11 strikeouts, though. Like, that tells you that it was a bad outing from an ERA standpoint, but it's not like he was useless last night. There were still, but when he missed, the Yankees absolutely punished him. So credit to them for that against Cease. Michaelis, he can get to gold. It's just he's not really going to go beyond that because he doesn't strike guys out. Plain and simple. I thought Manaea would get there. They hit him on the walk rate. I had him at gold, but he's still a hold for gold. Here's a buying opportunity. I'm not out on Webb. I really liked him coming into the year. He's been a bit off. Again, this is probably what Urias' line should be, given the skills. But Webb's getting a little bit more punished for being off. Now, he doesn't have the same 25 hits in 30 innings is not the same as 41 and 35 and a third. But that's where BABIP can get you, in a small sample. Bottom line, I'm not worried about Webb. I would jump in. Tyone can get gold, but I think he's kind of the epitome of a high silver. And I think Jordan Montgomery might be too. Because neither really has the strikeout rate to push. They don't have like amazing hit suppression or amazing walk suppression like that. None of the big three is a standout skill for them. And as such, it probably keeps the two Yankees at high silver. They could dip into gold. Like they're on the cusp. If you're invested in them, sit tight. I'm not saying jump out. I'm just saying, like, it could be a grind where we're hanging on every start. Like, oh, I need one more good start before the roster update type of thing. They're going to be those fringe guys because their true talent is probably high silver. Tyler Wells loses one, but he's got a big start this week against Detroit weekend. That he needs to start showing off his strikeouts a little bit. He had good strikeout rates in the minors. Kyle Bradish showed that his minor league strikeout rate has some realness to it with a big 11 strikeout game against St. Louis. Tyler Wells gets an even easier opponent in Detroit. If we see the strikeouts start to come forward, I'll jump in for gold. Otherwise, he might be a high silver as well. This is another epitome of silver. Kyle Gibson can spike a gold run every once in a while, but not really. All right, so no love for Tarek Skubals, homer per 9. And I was just wondering, I know homer per 9 does not play in the game, so they don't really need to worry about it. I don't know if it impacts the overall or not, though. So I was just wondering if they would maybe go in and update his because he's only allowed 2 homers. I I think it has like a very small effect. Like you could do like a 25-point upgrade in Homer 9 and it might give them a +1. I don't know for sure. It might not matter. And if it doesn't, then I'll just stop looking at it altogether. But I know sometimes they update it. So I feel like if you're ever going to update it, it must have some bearing on overall. Merrill Kelly doesn't quite get to gold, but he's right there. I think I had Kelly. Yeah, I had him at 78. Long-term hold for gold. I love what he's doing. But again, he's right in this Kyle Gibson, Jordan Montgomery, Jameson Taillon vibe. Like, that's a good pitcher. That's a good pitcher, and Kelly is pitching very well right now. Needs some more strikeouts if he really wants to firmly entrench himself as a gold potential. Sevdog's coming together, y'all. I think he'll spike gold at some point this year. How patient can you be, though? Because it could be a little back and forth before we get there. And if you're willing to kind of stay bought in, you should eventually get paid off. The downside, of course, is health. If we wait all this time and it's so close and he's finally at 79 and then he has an 8 strikeout game the Monday before an update and we're like, here we go. And then they don't give it to him and then he gets hurt. Some shit like that. Like, so it is risky because of the health issues that he's been going through. The raw talent, the stuff is looking pretty good, though. Can his body withstand? Cal Wright gets a big +4. He hit a little bumpy in his last outing. I mean, I've actually been pretty impressed how he's been dealing with adversity when he faces it. I think some people people always want to be first to call like the fall off. Like, I don't know. It's this weird thing. People get so fucking horny about that. Like, I fucking called it. Like, okay, cool. What do you want? What do you get? You got nothing for it. Shut the fuck up. But they're like ready to just be like, he's done. He's a pumpkin. I think a lot of times it's when they don't have the breakout in fantasy. They want it to be shit so that they don't have to feel like they missed anything. It's like, you can't get every breakout. Who cares? But anyway, what I was going to say, like, he got beat up by Boston. No two ways around it. But it was literally one bad inning. And, like, to me, that's a hell of a lot different than getting beat around for 3-4 innings where every one was a struggle. He had a 9-pitch first inning, dusted him. 30-pitch second inning, that's when 4 hits, 2 walks, 6 runs. 20-pitch third, 14-pitch fourth, 12-pitch fifth. He settled down and looked good the rest of the way. Oh, he didn't finish the fifth, sorry. So 12-pitch to get 2 outs in the fifth. So, like, I'm not bugging out. He's facing some adversity and surviving and, like, bouncing back. He's not melting down. Like, Kyle Wright was a 5th overall pick. Like, this dude is supposed to be a guy. So, I'm in on Kyle Wright. I'm holding for gold here, too. My boy Sandy, just got to get some punchies. And as you can see, the hits and the walks, they kind of have to sustain him while we wait for the punchies. He's still pitching well. He looked great the other day, too. I love him. Until the strikeouts come, though, it's a battle for gold because that's such a key stat for this game that if he doesn't get them, then he's just like this group here that we've been talking about with Kelly and the Yankees and Minaya and Michaelis. Like, they're all in that group of, like, really good but not quite firm gold guys. Of course, Charlie Morton had to come down. He's been absolutely brutal. If you're talking fantasy, this is an actual buy low, right? I love when people are talking about like a buy low that is so fucking obvious that everyone with a partially functioning brain can see it. Like, that's the buy low, dude. Like some superstar that is only hitting 230 or some shit. It's like, okay, cool. But no, this is a buy low. To actually buy low is when the cost is super depressed, it's stinky, there's no obvious factors in the profile that says why you should jump in. He's also old, as someone in my chat's mentioning. Like, there's nothing great here. If you buy in, you're buying the discount and the track record. And sometimes that's worth it enough. Because no, I can't point to things in the profile to get you guys excited. The only thing I can really say for Charlie Morton is that he doesn't appear to be particularly injured on the with his arm because his velo and spin are still there. Now the question would be, he has a 13% walk rate. Is his lower half a problem with that broken leg? And that's an open question that is perfectly fair to ask. Another thing about him, though, is if you go look kind of game to game, he always has a few good innings. So he's not just totally out to lunch getting clobbered. He'll have like 2 good innings, get crushed for 4 runs, then 2 more good innings, and then he's out for the day, 5 innings, you know? So, I don't know. For our purposes in MLB The Show, I'm not buying back in right now. But for fantasy, if the discount is real, that's what an actual buy low is. That's all I'll say. Like someone in chat mentioned, like buying Tyler O'Neill. That's a fake buy low, right? People are like, dude, buy low on Tyler O'Neill. I'm like, okay, find me somebody who's actually selling him cheap. Because they're not. That's an obvious buy low. He's improved his plate skills. He has 2 homers, 3 steals, but he's only hitting 200. So I'm going to buy low on him. You're going to get like maybe a 1-round discount, if that. Anyway, Drew Rasmussen gets up to silver. My question with him is not only the strikeout rate. He's kind of in that same group we've been talking about here, all these guys that you can see. But also, because he only goes 5 innings so often, everything kind of lives on a wire where 1 bad inning fucks the outing, right? If you go 6 and can go 7, not that everyone does that a lot these days, but if you go 6, go 7, then 1 bad inning, you can recover from that. But if you are always, if 5 is your max, then 1 bad inning, you're pitching 4 and you're sunk. And it's just really difficult. So I know he had that 6-inning game. He was just super efficient. It wasn't a new level. He's a good pitcher. Per inning basis, he's awesome. But I think it could be agonizing to get him to gold. Barrios goes down. I don't know what's up with him, y'all. I mean, actually, that overstates it a little bit. He's Nick calls him the undulator, because he's just like up, down, up, down. He has 3 up, 3 down so far this year, but the 3 ugly starts are carrying a lot more weight than the 3 good ones, so it looks like shit. He's probably just who he normally is, and he's gonna find his numbers. He always seems to get back to his mark of like a high 3 ERA, decent enough whip, good enough strikeout rate. My only issue, though, is the strikeouts are nowhere to be found right now. So, I don't know. Tristan McKenzie, my boy, getting a little love there. He could be a summer gold, for sure. I think these next 2 guys are summer gold candidates, even with Sandoval going down a little bit. Sandoval, the problem with him, or like not even necessarily a problem, but like one of the difficult things is his number 1 pitch is a feel pitch, the changeup. And if you don't have the feel for it, Luis Castillo, then you can be very volatile. Dude, I'm so bummed. I just saw that Paddock went on the 60-day IL today. I hadn't seen that, which means he's in deep trouble health-wise. And that sucks, dude. I was really excited about him figuring out a 3rd pitch and kind of taking some steps forward. Because, like, I wasn't in on him at all this year, coming into the fantasy season. I was like, nah, 2-pitch guy, homer machine. And then even when he got traded, I was like, still no, pass. And I've talked about this before, maybe even on the previous roster update, but when he talked on the Twins broadcast when they were playing the Tigers, because I was watching the other team's broadcast, I was just really impressed with how he talked about needing a 3rd pitch, how hard he was working on it, how he was even starting to cultivate maybe a 4th pitch, and just like his knowledge of the game and what he needs to be successful, I was just super impressed with. So I was rooting for him. And now he gets an injury that could end up being TJ, and it's really bad. That sucks. Our weekly reminder that Zach Greinke could not strike me out. Alex Wood -1. This is a buy opportunity. We know what Alex Wood is, right? Health concerns out the wazoo, but the talent is still very good. I would buy him and Cobb as hold for golds. Luzardo's going to be maddening, okay? If you're in on the gold train, stick with it. I think he'll probably get there at some point this year. But you see, he lost 7 in BB9, and when the walks are a problem, it's hard to make up for it. So just be careful. It's going to be frustrating. So buckle in, folks. Same with you fantasy folks that have him. Just strap in. If you're in Roto, I think you just got to kind of let it go and enjoy the ride and see where he's at the end of the year. If you're in head-to-head, he's going to lose you some games on a Sunday. He's going to win you some, though, too. There's going to be like 7 shutout innings, 12 strikeouts. You'd be like, I won because of Jesus Luzardo. So he's that kind of guy. My boy Joe Ryan, he just runs into these teams. He's done it twice this year that just figure out how to wait him out. And he has a 4-walk game and a 5-walk game. In his 4 other starts combined, he has 3 walks. So there's just something about a couple teams that can kind of figure him out, wait him out. I mean, getting blasted by Houston, you shrug. Like, they're awesome. That's not terribly surprising. Erod +1. I'm still not too worried about Erod. You see now it's a 116 whip. I'm just not that worried. Like, it's been rough, and some of it's his own doing, some of it's the defense. But as a Tigers fan who's watched all of his starts, I think he kind of is at his level. Like, he should still be fine. What the hell was that, Kluber? I understand the Angels are awesome, but oh my God, dude. Like, that is bananas. I truly did not expect that. Like, a blow up that just goes that south, and wow. That was brutal. And it did count for this, so it hurt him. I mean, before that, he'd been amazing. So, can he get back and then go gold? He could. But do you want to invest in Corey Kluber and his health track record? I don't. So, I wouldn't do it, y'all. I am sticking by Tanner Houck. Maybe not as much in an MLB The Show investment standpoint. I mean, I'm gonna keep the shares I have, but I'm not necessarily gonna add a bunch more. But in terms of a fantasy baseball standpoint, I'm going for it. He's been brutal his last 2. There is no sugarcoating that. There's nothing good to say about it. Both were awful. But I'm just not gonna jump after 2 bad outings. Is kind of what it boils down to. I'm trying to see. He goes this weekend. Okay, yeah. I think he goes this weekend. He's supposed to be the primary on Sunday, but it's not penciled. It's penciled in, not locked in, according to the RotoWire probables. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm sticking with Tanner Houck in fantasy right now. For MLB The Show purposes, you probably don't need to. I'll stop when I get to somebody worth investing in. Good job, Brad Keller. He's pitching all right, but he is the epitome of a high bronze. He can get into silver every once in a while, but he's a high bronze. Marquez might finally be where he belongs too. My boy Paul Blackburn +5. He's still pitching well, y'all. He's still pitching well. Now, he doesn't get enough strikeouts to really be a stud right now. And as you can see, he's only up to 44 on his K rate with a 7.6 mark. 7.6 is actually a jump for him, though. Obviously not going to hold a 174 ERA or an 087 whip. But +2 miles an hour on his fastball, much better secondary stuff, a great home ballpark to kind of protect you. We've seen this out of Oakland guys before. They got 2-3 of these guys every year. 2-3 Paul Blackburns come out of nowhere every year. Cole Irvin, Chris Bassett was that before, kind of hitting another level. Like, Paul Blackburn can be Chris Bassett. And maybe he even keeps going beyond where Chris Bassett went and now became kind of like an actual dude. But yeah, like, I believe in Blackburn fantasy-wise. Ian Anderson walking everybody. Josiah Gray pitching okay. Dane Dundy's been pitching his ass off. I think he gets the Yankees next, though. So good luck with that. Actually, no, I think he faced the Yankees. Hang on. I'm going to look it up because now we were just talking about him. Red Sox tonight, Friday the 13th. Dun, dun, dun. And then the Angels next week. So be careful in real life. And obviously that means that it's going to be difficult for him to boost up in MLB The Show too. But if he does do well against those two, then that's huge. The two Angels guys here. Look, the no hitter was cool, but it still came with 2 strikeouts. And so for our purposes here, he's kind of gonna peak at a silver. Same with Lorenzen. Until either or both start striking guys out, they're kind of maxed in like the 74 to 76 range. They've both been pitching well though, and the Angels always need pitching. I want the Angels to make the playoffs so badly. Kikuchi finally getting the schedule back in his favor. He gets nooched here, but next week he gets a 2-step against Seattle and Cincinnati, both at home. And, he's faced like New York 4 times, Houston twice, Boston twice. He's had just the craziest schedule. So 2 against, 1 decent team in Seattle and then 1 bad team in Cincinnati. If he can't do well against them, though, then I'm not going to blame the schedule anymore. I'll say that. I'll definitely say I don't want to hear about the schedule then. Mackenzie Gore, I talked about this, I think, last update with Nick Martinez. I don't know if they're going to put him in the bullpen, Zimmerman. Martinez. The only reason I think Gore could get sent out is if they wanted to use AAA to protect his innings a little bit, to try to make sure that he has enough gas in the tank for the stretch run and maybe the playoffs. And you can do that a lot better at AAA, skipping him, giving him 6 days rest, 7 days rest, stuff like that. So that's why I do think when Snell comes back, I could still see Gore going down because they want to protect him. And he's been good. But I don't think he's been so good that would be like the most egregious thing if they did that. So for you fantasy folks, just be careful. Bruce Zimmerman pitching his ass off. The Baltimore trio of Zimmerman, Bradish, and Wells are all pitching very well. Now, he's a soft tossing lefty, so I'm a little suspect on it. But he is kicking ass right now. Hunter Green, super volatile. Could eventually go silver if he stabilizes, but he's a long way from that. Quantrill, quintessential bronze. So is Martin Perez. Jake Odorizzi's been pitching better lately, but the skills are not special. The results have been. Excuse me. Only a position change for Junis. I don't understand. I know it's 15 innings, but we're making moves off of other guys' 15 innings. Why didn't he get some love with this too? What are we doing? I had him up to a 73, with most of it coming off the position change. I thought he'd get 2-3 points off of the update too. Justice for Junis. Unbelievable. Josh Winder. Hey man, he got blasted by Houston. Same with Joe Ryan, right? Like, what are you going to do? It'd be cool if they pop off against a team like that, but you're not killing them when you get beat up by one of the best teams. Spiderneck, best player in the league. I don't want to hear anything to the contrary. I won't co-sign it if you do say it. George Kirby only gets a 3-point boost. I guess he only has 6 innings, so that's fair. He pitches tonight or tomorrow. Tomorrow, I believe, in Citi Field. All eyes on that one for sure. I mean, listen, if I don't know where his price is right now because I don't know how new of a card he is. I'm actually going to look it up real quick. But if you are patient, then this is summer gold potential for sure. Yeah, he's 65 right now, which is pretty high for a common, but I think everyone thinks that he's at least going to get silver. So, yeah, I like George Kirby a lot. I like George Kirby better than Matt Brash, not because Matt Brash struggled. I liked George Kirby better than Matt Brash before that. And I like George Kirby like close to as much as Gilbert, to be honest. Tit Scratch, lost 5. That's tough. My boy Glenn Otto. What? Why is he on? Oh, his pitches got love. Well, why didn't he get some love? I love Glenn Otto, man. It says he doesn't have any stats, but that's not true. And it also says 2021 stats. But he's been pitching well, man. I'm a Glenn Otto fan. I'm a little fanboy. Only 7.5 strikeouts, 3.8 walks, but 5.0 hits. You know, it wouldn't have been some big boost, but I thought he should be a bronze. I thought he should be a freaking bronze. Anyway, new pitchers, Robert Duggar, that's it. A bunch of new relievers. Wait, was this the guy that was like sneak tip last year that had like a funky delivery or something? Eric Yardley. Am I tripping on that? I feel like he was like a pick in leagues. Apparently, it shows 2021 stats on everyone, by the way. It wasn't just Glenn Otto. Michael King goes gold. Nobody's surprised by that. He's been amazing. Obviously, he had the supercharge. I believe he has a, what's it called, too? A tops now, if I remember correctly, right? I only put him at 78, and that was another big thing where I was like, he was another good test for me to be like, okay, I got to dial up my my knobs a little bit. I got to turn them up. I got to turn up the volume because I was trying to be like cautious the way they usually are with relievers, and I was like, okay, I'm putting him at a 78, even though he's been out of his mind. They're like, nah, turn that bitch up to 11. So it's all good. I like it. Now I don't know why they didn't move Christian Javier to SP because he is in the rotation. He probably would have gone to like an 83 if they did that, and maybe that's why they didn't do it because they're like, we can't move him from a 78 to an 83. But like, why not? If that's where he plays, let him live. But I do like Christian Javier. I don't think he's really a diamond candidate. I'm a really big fan of his. You guys might remember from the updates last year, I kept saying he was going to go back to the rotation for Luis Garcia. It wasn't Luis Garcia hate. It was because I thought they would protect his innings the way they did with Javier. And I was like, okay, well, they'll switch in the second half. And the switch never came. It's still not a switch. Garcia's doing his own thing. He's kicking ass in the rotation. But now Javier's finally in the rotation with him again. Our boy Tommy Canely, friend of the Twitch community, back in the saddle. Gets a little -1 there, but he gets +5 on his velo. Loop, you know what? He can go gold, so Loop is a hold for gold, but I want him to stay silver for BR purposes. I'm being selfish. Same with Brooks Raley. He's going to go gold, and I want to say we highlighted him on the preseason show, too, as somebody like, hey, this is a cheap reliever type that you're not going to be thinking of. You should definitely go get him. And he might become their closer. He's already got some saves. I don't think he has 4 saves, though. Now, those actually might... No, those aren't his 2021 stats, because he had a high ERA weirdly last year with Houston. He has 3 saves. Everything else is right. So I guess they just counted an extra save somewhere. That's interesting, because literally everything else is fine. But anyway, I like Brooks Raley quite a bit, and I do think he's definitely a hold for gold. I mean... Neris can be too, just because he's a 79. I'm not in love with Neris. Like, he's not getting the swing and miss that he does normally. But once you're a 79, you're on the radar. 78, 79, you're definitely on the radar. Minter is too. Minter's pitching his ass off. He's an easy hold for gold. Will Smith's been okay skills-wise, great results-wise. Kendall Graveman loses 1. I'm not too worried about him. I think he'll eventually go gold. Ryan Helsley's going to go gold. And I'm going to say, y'all, Ryan Helsley could end up diamond this year. That's how disgusting he is right now. It would take a long time, even with the, even with them turning up the aggressiveness on updates. It's still going to take a while because he has 10 innings this year, and his previous innings aren't particularly special. But he has 20 strikeouts in 10 innings, 1 hit, 0 walks. He's the best reliever in baseball right now, inning for inning. So if he keeps pitching like this, he's going to be gold next update and diamond by like the 5th update. So, you know, just get in and hold is basically what I think is the right way to go with Helsley. I'm looking up his price right now. Yeah, he's $224. And I think you just ride it out. And just see where it takes you. Because he's just so good. He's just so good. And I got to imagine he's somewhat usable. Well, first as a bronze, but now as a silver and like BR and stuff too. Dev's been up and down, so I'm not surprised that he lost the 8 walks and 10 in the third. That's rough. Darren O'Day +1. Montero's been pitching well. Montero's doing what people thought Neris could do. In fact, Montero is the backup to Presley. So if you have Presley in a fantasy league and you're nervous about his health or anything, Montero's the guy to get. He got the saves when Presley went out. But I do like Montero. I've been a fan of his since he was a Mets starting prospect, and I always wanted him to kind of buck the trend of 6'0" starters. There's kind of a bias against them. They don't have a great history. Because, again, if you're listed 6, you're 5'10". And so, like, smaller right-handed starters, not a great history. And he never really found it. But as a reliever, he's quite good. He's quite good. And he looks awesome this year. And they haven't missed a beat with him basically assuming the Kendall Graveman role for them. Anthony Bass got a big boost. If he keeps striking guys out, I guess he could get gold, but I wouldn't hold my breath. Trevor Stephan, Blue Buck put me on Stephan. Stephan's got some gold upside, y'all. Bloobs put me on him early in the season, saying he wasn't like downing Clase or anything. He's like, not gonna take over the closer's role, but look at this guy we got, Trevor Stephan, and I've been keeping tabs on him ever since. And he's nasty. He is nasty. 13 and a third innings. 15 punchies, 3 walks, 6 hits. Just filth. Absolute filth monster. I agree. Hold for gold. 100% hold for gold here. And dirt cheap, I bet. Dirt freaking cheap. Gotta be, right? Let me just check the app real quick. Tyler Duffy got nooched. By the way, that's when they get nothing. Neutral. We call it nooch, just if you didn't know. If you didn't know. Oh yeah, you can get some cheap Stephens. Boxberger, nothing. Diego Castillo got destroyed. Vesia, real solid lefty. I'm not sure. I mean, I'll tell you what, he could go gold if he keeps these rates, but these are pretty exorbitant rates for what he normally does. So I'm not sure that I'm like fully buying it. I'm going to keep tabs on him. I like these reliever ones can be the sneakiest because they can really jump up on you and deliver big. We talked about Tommy Canely earlier from years ago when he first broke out. He was one of our biggest sneaks. It kind of really... Him eventually going gold put me on the map with a lot of people with the roster investing, because I was just hammering it every week. I was like, we didn't get it yet, y'all. Keep going, and it eventually hit. And there were people that had like 500 of him type of deal because we had to wait a while, and that was back when they were really cautious on relievers. So Vesia could be that type for sure. I'm popping some Stephens. Chafin's fine, by the way. He had a rough first outing for the Tigers. I'm not worried about him at all. I don't know if he's going to go gold, but I'm not worried about him in the slightest. Colin McHugh, Victor Rano, Lugo down. Barnes. Yeah, remember when Barnes was diamond? That finally came through for us last year, but he has not been very good since. Clay Holmes has some hold for gold upside as well. I wish he was getting more punchies, but you cannot argue with the walk rate and the hit rate right now. It's like a baby Helsley. Actually, the better comp is just baby King because they're on the same team. So I don't need to complicate it. You see what King's doing? Holmes is just kind of doing a King Jr. He's a prince. Holmes is the prince right there. He actually has the better results, 0.55 ERA to 135. But I'm talking skills wise, 13.1 Ks for King, 8.8 for Holmes. Holmes has the better walk rate and hit rate, though. But we need those Ks to go up. Yeah, I said Baby King instead of the Prince right away. My bad. Jason Adam. Who remembers Jason Adam? Former #1 pick for Kansas City, I want to say. Let me fact check myself on that. Jason Adam, drafted by Kansas City. 5th round, though. Former prospect. Not #1 pick. But a notable prospect. Who's been kind of meandering around journeyman type at this point. Health, as is often the case with like a 29, 30-year-old breakout relief arm that you remember the name, but you don't really know why. You're like, what is that name? Oh, he was a prospect. He fizzled out. Well, he fizzled off the prospect status, but kept grinding, and now here he is with the Rays of all teams, beasting and feasting. No thoughts on Yimmy? Not really. What is there really to say? He's just kind of is who he is. He's all right, but he's not really striking anybody out. He got nooched. I just don't see too much there. If I skip him, it's usually because I'm just not seeing a whole lot. Duran just got a tops now that I heard is nasty. He has outlier on a fastball and on his splitter. Gross, which they call a splinker because it's like a split sinker. It's disgusting. Pitching Ninja always highlights it. Duran, I'm riding this one out too. If you think, what I said about Helsley could go diamond this year, so could Duran. Now, he needs to get to silver first. I understand that. But I'm talking long term. The way Duran and Helsley are pitching, they're like the peak Devin Williams. And remember, Devin Williams used to be everything and went diamond. He's on a tough year right now, but that's what Duran and Helsley are. Evan Phillips, we talked about him last time. He's now come from common to 72. He's coming quick, and they're giving some real aggressiveness with him. He looks like the next great freaking Dodgers starter, man. We talked about Jason Adam with the Rays, Evan Phillips with the Dodgers. There's certain teams that just are always cultivating the next elite reliever. It's never the fucking Tigers, that's for sure. Will Crow, shouts to Will Crow. That's Dimu's boy. The second L is for you. That was a great meme. Alvarado +4. I mean, we've been teased and tantalized by big Alvarado seasons before. I need to see a lot more before I would even consider buying a single share. Sam Hentges isn't too bad either. I just don't think he's quite a starter, but like those failed starters, Hentges and Eli Morgan for Cleveland, they're just going to go be like badass relievers. Cleveland's pitching is nice, dude. Lamet, dude, maybe I should have just stuck with my disinterest in him forever. But I thought going to bullpen, he would surge and be a god, and that has not happened. He's been pretty bad. Genesis, beasting, got the blue glove finally. Our work here is done. Nick Sandlin, I think he was part of that big meltdown. Or all those runs they allowed against the White Sox. I guess the White Sox actually melted down. Trevor Gott, very nice rating. Same with Steck. Taylor Clark. Remember that Taylor Clark tops now silver for Arizona? That card was sick. Like 45 stamina. That was awesome. Spencer Strider, I think they did him a little soft here. I get the walks though. I do. Because he's had a few big walk outings. And I mean, we're dealing with tiny samples here, so you got to go with what you got. Like we're talking about 16 2/3. But he walked 8 in a three outing period. Although this last period, if you're just going off of this last update, he only walked 1 in 7 2/3. So shouldn't he have gotten a boost? If Garrett Whitlock has to take that big of a hit, shouldn't Spencer Strider have gotten a boost? Remember when Matt Foster was awesome during the COVID year? Brock Burke. Here's one to watch, y'all. Brock Burke is killing it. He's like the next Spencer Strider type. He is absolutely destroying it in the 2-inning relief role for Texas. Just absolutely nasty. Eno actually put him on my radar years ago when he was starting, saying like, yeah, the results aren't that good. There's not a whole lot to go off of, but just digging under the hood, he saw some pretty intriguing stuff. This was back in 19. And so he didn't pitch in 20, or if he did, it was at the alt site. And then last year in 77 2/3 at AAA, he was uninspiring. But this year so far, Brock Burke looking real nice. Real nice. So I think we could see him go silver. We could definitely see silver. Josh Fleming goes back to RP. Puck could go silver too. I think it might finally be coming along with Puck. We kind of knew, and it's not just because he looks like Josh Hader, but we kind of knew that he would eventually meander to the bullpen. Sometimes you can just tell early. You kind of wish cast the ability for them to figure out the command and get a third pitch and be like, well, if he just does this, and this, and this, he could be an ace. You start really piling up the ifs. And I think we kind of did that with Puck, and then the injuries just took over. And so they're like, you know what? We're just going to, whoops, I hit it with my foot. We're just going to go starter, or we're going to go full reliever here. But I think it might finally be coming. And I definitely could see Silver this year. I'm rooting for him. He's fun. Griffin Jack's pitching pretty well, too, out of the Minnesota bullpen. Will Vest. Now, there's a little bit of a Tigers homegrown, but again, not on the Helsley-Duron train. And chat pointed out that the Tigers bullpen is pitching well this year. Again, we don't have any, star, oh my God, I'm so glad he's in. Now, Vest through 13 2/3, sure. But he doesn't have the stuff of a Duron or a Helsley. Again, it's nice that when Tiger starters leave the game, it doesn't feel like the game is over if they don't have a lead, which is how it often feels. And Will Vest is probably the best of this bunch, and he got a big jump, and he's going to keep going up if he keeps pitching like this. But it's not transcendent. Joel Zumaya was the last guy close to that for the Tigers. Oh, they did draft Nick Mark dirty, -3. Rude. He's trying to multiply his rating by 2. Stupid joke. Not even a joke, just a dumb comment. Closers. Hader, speaking of. Hader and Iglesias get nooched. Oh, they upped his clutch, though. That's nice. T-Raj gets it. That's awesome. See, I put him at A4. Again, relievers. I'm always nervous because a lot of times they're very cautious with them, and they really make them prove it. I'm glad Rogers got it. He deserves it. He's awesome. Jansen gets there. I mean, he just looks like Jansen again, so that's not too surprising. Edwin will be next if he keeps pitching well, so stay on that train. Hendricks has obviously been bumpy pretty much since that Buxton yak, I believe, right? And then that's when they said he had a little back tweak. And then since then, it's been Actually, there's only been one other time. Actually, just one other issue again in the Cleveland game. The funny thing is, you take from the Minnesota game to that Cleveland game, and he has a 4.70 ERA because 2 bad outings, sandwiching 6 clean outings, is still enough to give you a 4.70 ERA. Reliever ERAs, dude, they're so dumb. They're so dumb. One bad outing can just haunt you. But yeah, I mean, he hasn't been fully himself. And the walk rate, I don't know that the strikeout rate really needed to go down. He is allowing too many hits, especially compared to what he's been doing. He'll go back diamond again, though, if he strings together 8 outings, 8 to 10 outings with 2 hits allowed type of deal. So keep tabs on Hendricks for sure. He could be a return to diamond at some point. Chapman's pitching well, results-wise especially, but the skills aren't all that great, so that's why he's not going back diamond right now. And I really wouldn't invest in him to do so. Unless I see the strikeouts really surge, I'm not jumping in on Chapman. Kittredge got beat up last time out. I don't know that he's toast or anything, but he's not going to go diamond anyway. Kimbrel, meh. David Bednar, look at that. Nice little gold for Pittsburgh. He's been kicking ass. My boy Gigi leaves gold, unfortunately. He's just not missing the bats right now. Got to see more missed bats. Paul Sewald, I thought he could get there. The reason I thought he could get there, even though it's only 9 1/3, and again, this is where I'm in between. I'm trying to be aggressive on some, and then I go aggressive on somebody. Everyone's different, though. That's why. That's why you don't just take, when somebody. My least favorite thing when somebody's like, hey, this guy's gold and he has this many homers, and this guy's bronze and he has this many homers. Shouldn't this be the same? And it's like, whoa, not how it works at all. Like the path, how they got there matters. But with Seawald, I thought there was a case to go gold here because he's backing up what he did last year. And I thought, start him at silver this year for sure and see how legit he is. And if he is, then we move a little aggressively with him. He's only allowed one walk on the season. It says 0 here, but he's only allowed one walk. I thought get him there, but he's at 79. Just hold. If you invested in Seawald, no need to worry. Man, Clase should be better. Like, I'm not mad at a 2.92 ERA and a 0.89 whip. Like, nobody is. It's good. It's good. But tell me you don't think he should be better. Why doesn't he have 18 Ks per 9, right? Why doesn't he get 2 strikeouts an inning? He's so insane. How does anybody ever hit him? I don't understand. Rough outing the other day by Romano, but I'm not too worried. I'm actually still holding for gold big time with him. Knebel got beat up a bit by the Dodgers yesterday, too. Not very nice of your old team, huh? No revenge game for him. David Robertson pitching very well this year. Goes silver. Always loved David Robertson diamond cards from the Yankees. Camilo Duvall, that's his job, man. Jake McGee got smoked. Duvall has gold upside for sure. Pagan, 173 whip. I just can't do it. Daniel Bard looking sharp again. He fell back last year. They go get Colomé. A bunch of us are like, well, it must be Colomé's job. Maybe that's why they went and got him. We were wrong. I was wrong. I knew Bard was there. I didn't want anybody, so it's not like I drafted a bunch of Colomé and I'm eating it. But I thought that they were going to go Colomé because of how Bard was last year. No, they gave it back to Bard, and he's been awesome. Diekman, Blyer. Again, I'll stop him if I see somebody important. Soto and Cousins. No new closers. All right, catcher. Will Smith down one. Yeah, the stud catchers haven't been that studly, and this is emblematic of that right here with all 3 guys going down to 83, and that fits. That's where they should be. Like, they haven't been that great. But Contreras, Grandal's part of that too. Like the best catchers this year, from like a fantasy standpoint, Contreras is the only one that's really popping off. And then Varsho's the new kid on the block, and he's been killing it. He position changed from center field, remember, because Carson Kelly's out. So he's going to catch for a little bit. And I tell you what, I kind of hope he gets 20 games back there to get one more year of catcher eligibility with him. Because here's the thing, he's not a long-term catcher. Varsho, unless he's been improving at it, is terrible behind the dish. Just terrible. So we were kind of thinking that this might be the last year that he even has catcher eligibility, because unless he gets 20 games, he won't qualify in a lot of leagues. But now he's already at 8, and I don't know how much longer Kelly's out, but I think it's for a little while, another few weeks. And a lot of leagues only require 10 games, so he's going to qualify in those ones for sure. So that's awesome from a fantasy standpoint. So, oh yeah, if you play in Yahoo, if they've ever touched home plate, then they have catcher eligibility. Yahoo comes liberal with the positional eligibility. Guys, be careful with Sean Murphy to gold. Like that, he's so volatile with the swing and miss and the no batting average to speak of. It just puts it all on his power. By the way, I didn't say anything about d'Arnaud or Contreras. Like, I don't think Contreras is going to go diamond necessarily. He pretty much has to hold this level, which I think he's like an 800s OPS, but I don't know about 900s. d'Arnaud, like, we know he's a good player. He just never stays healthy, so I'm not betting. I mean, he went gold. You got what you wanted here, but I think this is about the max. Maybe another point or two, but then you're just always waiting for that shoe to drop health-wise, unfortunately. I know that's a pessimistic way to look at it, but with somebody who's been so consistently hurt like him, it's not like I'm not trying to make fun of him for his body failing him, but it fails him consistently. Diaz gets nooged, so does T-Step. Thought they did T-Step a little dirty, but I'm still holding for gold with T-Step. Kybert. Interesting update here. So he gets some big gains, but a big hit, including the contact against lefties. Got it. Stassi -1. Kirk up 1. Kirk has actually gold upside, but he'll get to silver. I mean, he's just a good hitter. We need to see the power start coming through, though. Big Z, I'm not investing in that. Narvaez comes down. I get it. Jeffers is kind of like Sean Murphy Jr. Like, pretty decent defender. And what's his name? Murphy's like an elite defender. And then, like, all or nothing power type, just like Murphy. Tucker, Sanchez, and then Contreras' brother goes there, and he's been hitting pretty well too. So +2 for him. No new catchers. No new first baseman. Vlad down, Freeman down, Olsen down. Damn, they hit. So that's the thing, though. If they're going to be aggressive, they got to be aggressive the other way too. So you might be like, well, damn, these guys are all playing like studs and they get hit. Well, if we're going to go up on guys, we can't just move everybody up. Guys have to come down too. So it's going to be, it's not quite 2020 aggressiveness, but it's higher than normal from my perspective. And I'm okay with that. I just like to know the ground rules, right? I come in a little bit cautious. That way I don't, send you guys on goose chases that don't come through. If you're investing in guys, I'm putting everybody gold and diamond. I don't want to have a bunch wrong. So I'd rather come in a little light, make sure you guys, I'm still encouraging y'all to invest, but maybe put in a 79 instead of an 80. And then if I'm wrong because they went 80, that I can live with. I hate when I have somebody at gold and then they go silver, or they go 79. That's when I feel worse. I don't mind being too low because I'm still putting you guys on the right track. Crone might get diamond. He really might, dude. He is just out of his gourd. He just hasn't slowed down at all. Goldie, he'll be diamondy eventually. Ty France could be diamondy as well. It's really going to hinge on the power, especially against righties. You see it's at 58. I don't know that he gets diamond without a power boost against righties. Sure, there's a path. Like if he just went crazy against lefties and got moved up to like 90-90 against them or something, obviously. But the best way, the best avenue is the one that has the most to gain. So power against righties would be the best way. Bottom line is, though, I'm going to hold France. I'm holding in for diamond. Josh Bell could definitely get diamond. He looks like early season Pittsburgh 2019 right now. And remember, he closed very strong last year. This is not out of nowhere. This is a continuation of the last 4 months of last year. Pete will go diamond at some point this year. I don't know when, but there'll be like a perfect 7-homer streak that aligns with a roster update period, and he'll go diamond. So just sit tight. Some of y'all thought Rizzo was going to go diamond and he lost 2. I'm curious what the disconnect was there. Let me see what he did this past period. So I used to go like team by team, and going team by team every 2 weeks takes a long time, and that's why I was falling behind on the roster update sheet. So found some new workflows, some new leaderboards that I'm looking at. But basically, I don't look at guys that over the update period if they have like a sub 800 OPS. And I don't remember seeing Rizzo, which suggests to me that he was pretty low. Yeah, he was awful this period. Why did people think he was going to go diamond? Huh? He was dreadful this period. Like, holy crap, cold streak. Which is exactly what happens. He had an 1144 OPS, Rizzo did. What goes up must come down. Like, this is just standard baseball right here. You get a 500 BABIP for 2 weeks, and then you get a 177 for 2 weeks. Like, that shit, is crazy. The reason Trevor Stephan wasn't on the sheet, y'all, is I didn't do bronze and common outside of a couple teams. There's a couple bronzes on there. So I started from the NL West, and I got a few whole teams before I said I can't go team by team right now. So you see a few guys from the NL West in the bronze in common, and then Yadiel Hernandez, Edward Olivares, and Andres Jimenez. That was it. I didn't get to do the thorough deep dive, and that's why I didn't see certain guys on the list. So yeah, again, this just goes back to what we're talking about. If they're going to go hard on guys moving them up, they got to be tough on the guys who are faltering. So Rizzo, Muncy, and Abreu come down. Walsh gets nooched. Tellez obviously had a big period, although he's been struggling since that 2-homer game. I really do like him, though. I do think there's gold upside with Tellez. I'm not a huge Mountcastle fan, but I will say... We've had issues with that front door. I thought I heard it click open. I was like, if the freaking dogs go crazy. Yeah, the wind blows. Literally has blown it open before. But yeah, Mountcastle, like, I don't know, man. He's good enough to pop off. Like, I'm surprised he got +1 with a 701. He must have had a good period, Mountcastle. I think he did. I remember seeing him. And I think I put him down. Yeah, I put him up to a 79. So, how is he really different than Tellez, though? I love Tellez, but Mountcastle, they're pretty similar. Hosmer goes up to... He's not going to go gold, y'all. I don't think. I mean, how long is the heater going to last? There's no skill change. Okay, cards on the table. Everyone knows I don't like Hosmer. Okay, I've never been shy about that. That is just the truth. I don't like him. He's a piece of shit to one of my friends, and I've carried it longer than my friend. I'm like, don't be mean to my friends. But then, no, he's a dude, bro. He's whatever. It's not the end of the world. I mostly do it for the meme, but I'm not a fan, okay? This has nothing to do with that, though. I'm not just going to give you all bad info or pretend that his stats are something that they're not because of that. But there is no skill change here, y'all. There is nothing. It's a heater. It's a standard heater. It will come down. I don't know when. If it lasts another 2 weeks, he might go gold. If you want to invest, go ahead. I'm not doing it, though. I'm not doing it. But at least in 2020, there was a skill change. He was lifting the ball. So you could say, okay, there's some power legitimacy here. But I don't see it with Hosmer this year, so just be careful. That's not my bias toward him coming out. That's just the stats. My bias is calling him a douche. Gurriel gets hit hard. He's been sucking. Mancini nooched. Hoskins down, but he's coming out of it. He hit homers in 3 straight games. Christian Walker, he got to get that contact going. His power's been there, but you got to have some contact. Cooper, Lowe, Dahlbeck, Torque. Yeah, these all make sense. Colin Moran playing way too much. That's what Cincinnati's life is right now. Ildemaro Vargas and Kramer Robertson are the new guys. Tommy Edman going diamond. I love this. I thought he might get nooched because he had a low power outage or low power output. And he never has power, but he had a sub 100 ISO this period. And I thought they might be protective of Diamond and like give him a little contact love, but then hit his power. But they didn't. So they gave him Diamond, and I totally fuck with that. Altuve nooched. Segura up 2. Segura... He could get Diamond, y'all. His power has been a lot better this year. You see, he just got +8 against righties. He's got 5 homers. It's not out of the question. It's a risky bet because he's going to hit for average, but if he doesn't hit for power all year, I don't know that he gets over the hump. So be careful. Be careful. Albies loses it. He's been ice cold. I mean, he could go back, though, too. So it's just a matter of if you want to get back in. Sometimes those are the best bets because if they've been diamond previously, they can really, get back there quicker if they get back on track. But then there's other times where they're, like, really tough on them. And it almost seems like they make them prove it double to get back. I don't think that'd be the case with Albies personally. So I'm open to maybe getting some shares of his. Chisholm, beasting. Obviously, he can go diamond, but it's very volatile profile, okay? It's Javi Baez, y'all. It's younger Javi Baez, and that's not a diss, because Javi Baez is a fucking G. Semien down 2, I get it, totally get it. He's pressing. Jimenez has been killing it lately, y'all. Now he is riding a 400 BABIP, don't get me wrong, but he is doing some good things too with the power and the speed. I recommended him today in my column for a fab pickup this weekend in shallower formats where he's available, and I definitely think you should take a look at that article and at Jimenez, because he's been very good. He's been a guy I have not been that in on, but seeing him pop off so far this year, I'm like, okay, I can get him in a 10 or 12 teamer. He's already rostered in 15s. Cronenworth comes out of gold. I totally get it. I looked under the hood the other day at Crony, and I didn't see much. I'm not to be worried about. I'm not worried. This looks like a traditional slow start, kind of in the vein of Whit Merrifield's, and you guys know I'm not worried about Whit at all. I recommended him twice on Boxes and Bull over the course of this week because there's just nothing under the hood to worry about. Story and Lau get murked. McNeil up 1. Polanco down. Frazier's been playing better than I thought, and I'll tip the cap. I'll give him credit. I thought he was going to go back to being kind of his Pittsburgh version. I mean, he's not that different than it, but he's been pretty solid. Nicky Lopez came back to earth. Who couldn't have seen that coming? Cesar Hernandez nooched. Colton Wong down 1. Chavis up 1. Chavis was cutting into his strikeout rate. Let's see where it's at right now, because that's kind of the key. If he can keep the strikeouts down, he can kind of get out of that dull Beckian level. He's at 24%. I can live with 24%. He's a career 32%. So, I don't know. Can he go gold? Not for a very long time, mind you. But I am impressed that Chavis has at least cut his strikeout rate a tangible amount. Scope, I don't know if a full-on scopening is coming, but in Jurassic Park, when the girl's looking at her Jello and is jiggling, it's off in the distance. But I think Scope's coming a little bit. I think Candy's closer to popping off. In fact, Candy is actually more. Jamer Candelario is in more of a hot streak already. But we've seen a few things from Scope. He's hitting into some bad luck. He's hit a few rockets. It's coming. I'm not saying invest in MLB The Show. Wait for the price to bottom out, because when he gets hot, he can go gold. But in fantasy baseball, a Scope buy low, and by that I mean just picking him up off the wire, because he's getting cut in leagues. I don't hate it. I watch Tigers every day. He is hitting the ball hard right now, y'all. And some of them are falling, but some of them are rockets right at people. And, that's just bad luck. And that's what was happening to Candy. Before Candelario started going, he was a standard BABIP slow start. That was the only thing that you could really find wrong, was that his BABIP was tiny. And then if you watch the Tigers, you knew that he was hitting pretty hard consistently, but not finding holes. Now Candy's finding holes. Eventually Scope will too. Gavin Lux nooched. I still think he'll have a run at some point this year where he goes gold. So if you want to get in for the long term, go ahead and do that. But that's where I'm at with Lux. Miller has continued to be fine. We knew he was never going to be a 400 hitter. Obviously, nobody is. But he's not going to even hit 300, I don't think. But I think he could hit a 270 with double-digit homers the rest of the way type of deal. John Birdie hit 2 homers in a game. I still don't know how that happened with these mush balls. Mateo, Torres, Castillo, they're all fine. And then that's it for second base. Third base, Joe Dunand. Oh, I know him from my actual Marlins franchise. I was like, I recognize that name. Jose Ramirez is up to 95,000 now, y'all. Damn. That's how it goes well when somebody, reaches 90 plus and you invest. But, it can go south too. Arenado, Machado, and this is where it goes south, is when people were hoping to cash in on Machado going to 90 plus and he didn't go. I wasn't in on that market. I'm stub poor right now, because I have not gone through and cleaned up my inventory at all. I don't know if you hold or sell. I don't know. It's tough. Bregman will go diamond at some point this year. I think Devers will too. I'm fine investing in both of them. Riley has been tearing the cover off the ball. Power's still there. I don't know where. I didn't expect the batting average to be as good as it was last year, so I'm not too surprised by that. Hayes gets snooched. LeMahieu down, back out of the gold. Urshela. Damn you, Urshela. He freaking broke up the JV no. Power versus lefty goes up. That's awesome. At least they got the right thing there. Chapman, dude, he's just not hitting for any contact. That's brutal. Diaz, +1. Eduardo, -4. I totally get it. JD gets nooched. Drury gets +4. Now, Drury is tearing the cover off the ball, and he's batting second every day on Cincy. The tough part is, is this the max of his heater, and then he's going to go back to being like a 750 OPS guy the rest of the way? Probably, and that's going to be fine, and that will hold silver all year. There is upside because he does hit the ball very hard. Like, he could have a power breakout, especially in that park. But let's not go crazy on a Drury hold for gold type of deal. We need to see a lot more before we start thinking that. Suarez down, Wisdom down, and they're just all or nothing type guys. They can get hot enough to push higher, but more often than not, they're just going to be so brutal with their batting average. Toro up, Espinal, Bohm. They're all playing well. They're all a long way from gold right now, though. Moose down. Franco and Witt nooched. Jamer loses one, I guess, because his splits are a little uneven, and then the big discipline hit. But again, I think he's coming out of his funk. Kevin Smith is just back somewhat recently. I mean, he might get bronze this year. It's not like it's an investment opportunity. Eric Gonzalez added to shortstops. Dude, Trey Turner got blasted. I like how they just cut the bullshit with Tim Anderson, right? I even put in my notes, I said his yearly trek toward diamond begins, because I feel like we've done this the last like 3-4 seasons, where he's a gold, he gets in the high gold, and then we just wait. Is he going to get diamond? They said, you know what? We're done with that bullshit this year. Let's just get him to diamond where he belongs. He's a stud. Wander gets nooched. Next hot streak, he'll go diamond. Same with Bogey. And honestly, same with Baez, too. Now, I don't think Horner is a hot streak away from diamond because he just doesn't have any power. And I just think his skills are too uneven to actually push diamond. This is like a David Fletcher situation to me when Fletcher goes gold. Bichette's been struggling, y'all, but we looked under the hood with him the other day on Boxes and Bull as well, and just didn't see enough to really be freaked out about. So if people are selling him in fantasy for any sort of discount, I'm buying. Adames goes gold. He's been a little more all or nothing than I want with the batting average, but don't forget, 220 is more akin to like 240 of a normal year because averages are so low. So don't look at 220 the way you normally would and be like, ugh, that's fucking garbage. When the league average is 232, 220 just is not that ugly. Seager nooched, Crawford up 1 to gold. He deserves it. He's been killing it. Could he go diamond? It would take a real power surge. If his 200 ISO here, I know it's 198, but if the 200 ISO is legit on Crawford, he's going diamond this year. I don't know that it's legit, and I'm not going to bet a ton that it is. I think I have some shares right now, and I'm inclined to just hold those. JP Crawford. I have 5. I have a whopping 5. I'm just going to hold those 5, though, and just see what's up. Correa's on the IL. Nick Ahmed, couple points there. Ha-Seong Kim had a hot streak going, but then cooled back off. Iglesias will go gold at some point this year. When? I don't know. You don't know either. We don't know, but we know it'll happen at some point. Probably will coincide with a homestand. They're about to go home this weekend for a long period. If he pops off these next 2 weeks and it's against righties, he'll get enough points and go gold. But he'll go gold for a little bit. He does seemingly every year. Swanson getting back on track. Still has a long way to fix his bottom line numbers. Tyler Wade goes up. Jeremy Pena. I'm surprised Jeremy Pena has not been more aggressively. Well, actually, I say that and then I look at the actual numbers here. This is pretty aggressive. I still think he should probably be like a 74, 75 right now. But I'm actually going to say this. I'm holding for gold with Pena. I'm gonna hold through and into the summer type of deal here. I think he's got major juice. Alvarez goes diamond, and so we don't have to do the whole Nelson Cruz thing. I thought we were going to do that with him. I was like, oh, here we go. We're going to wait with bated breath every week. But no, they got him there, and I'm glad. He's a diamond hitter. It fits. Hayes goes +2. Gurriel down 2. Hayes, I don't really see diamond. That's why I kind of glossed over him. Casty, Nuched. Same with JD. -2 for Tyler O'Neill. We're actually just talking about Tyler O'Neill. He's an interesting buy low. And I will say this. I was out on him coming into this year for fantasy purposes because of his plate skills. I didn't want to pay full price. And I stand by that. Interesting thing is, you'd think I'd be, waving a flag about how right I was because he has a 561 OPS. No. First of all, it's too early to do that shit. Secondly, he's actually gotten better on some of the factors that I was concerned about. Namely, his walk rate is up 2 points to 9%. His strikeout rate has actually meandered back up to 30%. But I will say, better than I thought, with the walk rate at least. In fact, I gotta say, I thought his strikeout rate was trending well. I think it's actually hit the tank a little bit recently, because as early as this week, I think he had a 24% K rate, and that's how volatile these rates still are. Yeah, okay. So, in his last 10 games, 19 strikeouts in 42 plate appearances. It's a 45% K rate. So he actually is looking a lot more like I thought. So maybe I am right. Okay, I'm a genius. Reverse what I said. I'm a genius. This is my official victory lap. I'm just kidding. I root for him, man. He was my big breakout last year. So he's a great example of how price changes so much in fantasy baseball. Because when somebody's undervalued, you're really hyping them up. You're really excited about them. But then when they actually pan out the way you want, and then everyone's in and the price goes way up, sometimes you push back. You're like, okay, I'm good now. I'm good. And that's kind of what it is with O'Neill. And it has to do with the plate skills, y'all. He just strikes out too much for me. Meadows' power will come. I do believe that, but we haven't seen it yet. And I guess that, that's kind of the tough part. Is that we got to see it. We can believe that it's coming, but I don't know exactly when. And it might just be the park. Our park sucks, dude, for homers. And it's not as terrible down the lines, but he's a lefty. I think it's better down the left field line, so he's pulling down the right field line. And, of course, right center fucking sucks, dude. Right center is like 7,000 feet away. It's triples alleys, so I don't know. But I still like Meadows. He is easily a hold for gold. It'll come. Maybe it'll take a road trip and he gets 4 homers. Verdugo, didn't he start off hot and then just went in the tank? I mean, that's why like 10 games is not really starting off hot, because you can totally flip it. I mean, it is, but it isn't. It is in that those games count. That's real. But it isn't in that it can be completely washed away by the next 5 games. My boy Randy has been sputtering, y'all. He puts up some tough ABs to watch. I love Randy. I root for him. I'm so glad I'm not as bought in this year in fantasy. I was pleased with what he did last year. The 2020 season, he was expensive. We were paying off of the playoffs. And I knew what I was doing going in. I was like, okay, I'm hoping to get like an 800 OPS with 25 steals. Was what I was dreaming of. 815 OPS with 20 steals. He got caught 10 times, most in the league. I'm happy. 20 homers along with it. But there's a reason I didn't exactly buy in aggressively this year. I still had him ranked pretty high. I wasn't out on him. But the guys that he was ranked around, I was going for a lot more. I had him ranked around Brian Reynolds. Not that he's killing it, by the way. Byron Buxton, that dude's pretty decent. And really the big two, even though the comps are a little different in terms of a Rosarena steals and these two guys don't, I was usually taking Haniger and Schwarber, and then I was drafting Akil Badu. So what the fuck do I know? It's not like I'm taking a victory lap on a Rosarena. Just because I avoided him, it just meant that I just got Akil Badu in every damn league, which we all know how well that went. That's been painful. Schwarber will get hot. He'll go gold at some point. So stick it out if you want. Brantley loses his gold. Connor Joe gets nooched. I think Connor Joe will spike a gold at some point too. But Connor Joe is, the epitome of a high silver as well. But the right 2-week sample can get you gold. Yelly's back, I think, y'all. Not to MVP level. That doesn't. You don't need to be back to that. That's a career year type, or career best type level that lasted about 2 years. But he's back to being a consistent plus bat type. Instead of top of the scale, he's second, third tier type. But he's awesome, and it's great. I love good Yelich, and he looks healthy. Looks like he's running out there better. This is a bummer, man. You can kind of see this coming the second he was traded to Seattle. Although, interestingly, and I don't know if these numbers have held, let's take a look at them. He was hitting better on the road than at home. I know we all said, don't draft him because of his home park and the big downgrade. And he actually has a better OPS at home than road, but it's 608 to 561. So they're both pretty dog shit. But yeah, I don't have high hopes for him. And hopefully we get a throwback Reds card of Winker to use, because this card's not as good anymore. Joseph, he'll probably spike gold at some point too, but I don't want anything to do with it. Too volatile for me. Ian Happ's been hitting all right. He needs to get into his power again to really go gold. David Peralta's smoothed out. He started off pretty well, but he's looked a little rough lately. Tapia, I still don't understand why they traded for him. Harold Ramirez has been killing it. He's mostly a lefty killer, though. That's the tough part, is his short side platoon. And that's always tough to bet on. I don't know what Marcell Ozuna's been up to lately. I have not... I don't watch many Braves games now that I'm thinking about it. Oh, Shar. Hang on, let me get Shar. It looks like he's been playing like shit. But I'm just realizing I'm not really in tune with anything that the Braves are doing. Like when I saw Albies' downgrade, I was like, oh, that's surprising. I didn't know that he was playing like shit. Guys, hello, it's me, Charlotte. And I knew that the Braves weren't playing well because I actually watch baseball, unlike my stupid dad, and he is a loser. So go to charvestments.com. It's just $72 a day. It used to be $69, but you perverts kept laughing at that, so now it's $72 a day. Pay me right now. Goodbye. All right. Our weekly commercial from Char. $72 a day. You guys have fun with that. Tommy Pham, he's trying to get his numbers, man. His numbers are coming through. He'll go silver. I don't know if he'll go gold, though. Seth Breezy, man, he's all or nothing. Colin and I love Seth Breezy, but he has not been that good. Lane Thomas, I liked Lane Thomas coming into the year. I will freely admit that. I'm not going to run away from that just because it hasn't gone well. He's been bad. I mean, I'll take the L. Ain Thomas, since I took the L. But yeah, he's not been good. And, one of the biggest issues people did bring up, and I knew it was there, but I thought maybe he could improve on it, was the fact that he doesn't hit righties very well. And I was like, well, he hasn't had that much time against them. He hit them all right when he was with Washington last year, but it was a small sample, and he's just, no. He's a fourth outfielder type. Soler, we know Soler can get electric hot, and he probably will at some point. But do you want to deal with it in the interim in fantasy or as an investment? Probably not. So I'm all good. Profar, the singles aren't falling, man. I feel bad for him. Everything else is pretty good, but his BABIP is tiny. And it's the singles that aren't falling. The extra base hits are there. You can see a 402 slug on a 187 average is pretty damn good. That's a 215 ISO. That's really good for Jurickson Profar. But his base hits aren't falling. Stick with him, man, especially in fantasy. If somebody cuts him, I'd pick him up. He plays everywhere. I don't know if he has all the eligibility anymore, but he usually has multiple eligibility. He's playing every day. I'm sticking with Profar. Once the singles start falling, his batting average will get up to like 250, 260. Nothing crazy, but it'll make the rest of the numbers look so much better. Yadiel Hernandez is taking over for Cruz. Since Cruz isn't hitting very well, Yadiel's like, I'll do it. They're about the same age. I'm barely kidding about that, by the way. Yadiel Hernandez is not some newcomer. He was a god in Cuba for a long time. So I like this when when they have a big standout career in Cuba, and then they come over here and get a little taste of the majors. Just say, you know what, I beasted in my home country. It was awesome, but let me see if I can hang in the majors. And he can. He was pretty good last year. And so far this year, it's been awesome. He's 34. I'm looking right now, like, I'm overstating how good he was in Cuba. He wasn't, like, God tier. He was very good, but he wasn't, like, he was, like, a big batting average. Like, kind of a prototypical number 2 hitter type, it looks like. 322, 444, 472. So not a ton of power, but got on base like crazy, hit for average. So maybe even a leadoff hitter. Maybe even a badass leadoff hitter. Back in his 20s in Cuba. And then he played in the Mexican League and the PRW, Puerto Rican Winter League. Yep. PRWL. Anyway, Yadiel's been awesome. Brandon Marsh, whoops. Brandon Marsh is playing. He's volatile, though. He strikes out a ton, y'all. So keep that in mind. He can go silver this year, but it's very risky. Jack Sawinski and Trevor Larnack. Larnack went on the IL. Sawinski's been playing, but I don't know. He's just okay. Kelnick got demoted finally. He's been rough, y'all. Guys, I'm worried about him. I am long-term worried about Kelnick. This kind of swing and miss, Jesus, sorry. I'm Char on my lap, so like I'm trying to move my controller between my keyboard tray and the top here. Like there's very little room, and I keep bumping it on the desk like a dumbass. But as far as Kelnick goes, y'all, guys don't usually recover from this kind of strikeout rate, and he is now at 30% for his career. And he doesn't have like Miguel Sano's power. When Miguel Sano's striking out 30% of the time and has 35 homer capability for every 600 plate appearances, you deal with that. Is Plato here? I think Jeff came over and him and Jen and his girlfriend, I think, just went to get Italian Ice, but I think Plato might be here because I think I just heard him grumble out of nowhere. Anyway, and listen, I know Kelnick's only 22. I saw the chat. Doesn't matter. Age alone does not turn a 30% strikeout rate. Usually, when you have a strikeout rate like this, it sticks. He might not be 30%. But it would be very unlikely if he became like a 20% strikeout guy. There's just no history behind that. It might happen, but it would be unprecedented. It would be unprecedented. And he had a month. He had a month in AAA before he was called up. And he struck out 16% there. And it was excellent. But it's an anomaly compared to the rest of his career. He had strikeout problems before that, and he's had strikeout problems since getting called up. I'm rooting for Kelnick, y'all, but you just don't fix swing and miss like that, and I'm nervous that he's going to be like, name any number of power speed guys that had too much swing and miss to make it. For some reason, the first one that hit my mind was Corey Patterson, but there's tons of them, and it's usually swing and miss that gets them. Fishboy goes down. He's still a god. Who cares? Same with Acuna. Buxton gets nooched. Robert up 2. Springer up 1. Springer will go diamond at some point this year, let's be honest. Marte probably will too. He hasn't been great yet. Springer's been great, by the way. I'm lumping them just because they're one after another. They're two different cases, but I do think both will go diamond at some point this year. I'm going to say Bader's going to go diamond again, too. He did at some point last year. The beauty is with the defense and speed, his hitting doesn't even have to be that good. That's why he's going to go diamond. Not necessarily because he's a god, but just because he's got the cushion of the defense and speed. But I also love him, man. I don't know why he's... Well, I did an article today with my fab recommendations, and I put him in it again. Second time I've done it because nobody's picking him up. And I'm just like, I don't get it. Let me see what the roster rate was at ESPN. So I recommended him for shallow leagues. He's 43% at Yahoo, 29% at ESPN. He has 7 steals. Like, I just don't get it. I don't get it at all. And I mean, it's fine. I've got him in most of my own leagues. He's not available on the wire in any of my leagues. I'll tell you that. I would pick him up for sure. But yeah, I just don't understand. Reynolds gets nuked. He just hasn't really gotten going yet. Same with wait. I was gonna say same with Garcia. Same in that he got nuked. He's not on Reynolds' level. Reynolds is way better. So I want to be clear that I'm putting a separation between them. Taylor will probably spike gold at some point. Like, he's hitting like shit, but similar to Bader, he's like Bader Jr. He doesn't need to do that much with the dish, or at the dish to go gold. Kike is a mess right now. Grichuk will spike gold at some point. Again, probably tied to a homestand, like I said with Connor Joe. Bellinger goes back down. He's super volatile. Straw is a high silver. Like, that's kind of perfect for him. Kiermaier is kind of a baby Taylor if Taylor's a baby Bader. And then J-Rod. J-Rod's coming, y'all. J-Rod's a hold for gold. 100%. Quan looking nice. Quan will go silver at some point. Victor Robles. Okay. If Taylor is a baby Bader and Kiermaier is a baby Taylor, then Robles is a baby Kiermaier. And at this point, you'd rather have a baby Carrot. Stupid joke. I understand if everybody leaves. Judge bets, they go up a bit. I know people are waiting for bets and Soto to go 90 plus. That's not a market I mess with. You saw what happened with the Machado. That's what makes it scary. Harper comes down. It's fine. Kepdog. I was not on Kepdog. I missed Kepler. I'm glad he went up. Good for him, but I missed that one. That's on me. Renfroe nooched. Margot looking nice. Now, if Kiermaier... No, I'm just kidding. He's right field anyway, but he's good. I like him. Is this the breakout or is it another heater? I think Margot teases and tantalizes every year. I'm waiting for that big, like, 22 homer, 30 steal type. Someone in chat today said he's going to be this year's Cedric Mullins and go 30-30. Like, it's possible. He's got the skills, but I don't know. Every time I get hyped on him, he pulls the rug out from under me. Josh Naylor, I'm big time hold for gold with him. Huge fan. He's killing it. We saw the 2-homer night the other day. He wants all the smoke, and he wants all the gold. Pollock down 2. I wouldn't be surprised if he spiked gold again at some point, but I'm not going to invest because of his health profile. Definitely in on Taylor Ward. He's nursing a little bit of an injury right now. But look at that. They gave him a fat boost. His card looks very playable now, too, for like BR and such. Because I think he has catcher eligibility as well from a few years ago. He's going to go gold. I think Yaz will go gold at some point this year, too. Big fan of his. Avi's been absolutely sputtering. There's not even power right now. I wonder if he's going to regret signing to play in that park for 4 years because that park is tough. Santander, he's been taking a ton of walks, but that's kind of it. We got to see him get into his power, but I know Camden's playing well right now for pitchers, but wait till the heat comes. We'll see what happens when it heats up out there if they're still keeping the ball in the park. Duvall, way too volatile to trust. He's like baby Gallo. Seiya Suzuki, listen, they figured him out a little bit. Now it's his turn to adjust, right? When you come up and you dominate the league, there's always an adjustment back, and then do you readjust to the adjustment, or do you kind of fall into a different level? I think he can adjust to the adjustment, but he needs to start laying off some pitches. They got him chasing like crazy. His O swing rate, which is outside of the zone swing rate, aka chase rate, is through the roof. Told y'all I'm not worried about Whit Merrifield. They had a 4-hit game the other day. It's coming. Everything under the hood looks fine, except a little bit too high on the fly balls, but that's fixable. If he fixes that, it's game over, and he'll get back, and he'll go gold too, I bet. So I think I'm kind of doing a long-term summer investment on Merrifield. I believe in him. Naquin gets hammered. Yikes. Ben Gamble. I feel like Ben Gamble hits a goddamn homer every other day. It is wild. He only has 2, and yet I feel like he's hit like 10 this year. I don't know where that's coming from. Maybe I just see his hits all the time, and I'm like, what, Ben Gamble hitting 290? Okay, good for you, Ben Gamble. Hunter Dozier gets nooched. Cole Calhoun down 2. Pavin Smith nooched. How dare they? I love Pavin Smith. And then Travis Demerit +3. He's been playing well, but he's another volatile type who strikes out a ton, so he can have kind of these wild ups and downs. No new. Oh, yeah. Laureano, Thomas, and Buddy Reed. I saw Buddy Reed at the Fall League one year, and he looked really impressive, but he's kind of that prototypical toolsy outfielder who strikes out too much type. Were there any new right fielders? No. Okay. So that's the roster update. Not too bad. 5 new diamonds, bunch of new golds. A lot of guys getting hit. Again, I gotta recalibrate here. I've been coming in a little conservative. That's okay. Again, I'd rather that than be coming in too hot and telling you that a bunch of guys are gonna go gold and diamond that don't. So I will take my new knowledge and my new workflow so that we don't have a Thursday update list next time. Again, my sincere apologies for that. And we'll get back on track for roster update 3, but things are going well. There's a lot of good 78, 79s, a lot of good 83s, 84s. Our next guys are pretty clear right now. We'll start to highlight them and hopefully get some big investments. So appreciate y'all watching. Always can come out every other Friday on Twitch, twitch.tv/spore. We do these live. We'll do it live. But also, hit that like button, hit that subscribe. Talk to you next time.